to the show that never ends. We're so glad you could attend. Come inside, come inside.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
You're listening to Living Clean and Sober on City of Angels Recovery Radio.
Here's Johnny.
And with the host of our show, Johnny Raggs.
You are talking to a man who has laughed in the face of death, sneered at doom, and chuckled at catastrophe.
His partner in crime, co-host, Ken MacDonald. Wanted by me, my master.
Before this is over, I'm gonna need a whole lot of serious care.
Like I picked the wrong week for smoking.
And our engineer, Art Ackerman.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain!
I'm feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
You see, we're on a mission from God.
Bye-bye, boys!
Have fun storming the castle.
Hey, come on. We're superheroes. What could happen?
With all due respect, sir, I believe this is going to be our finest hour.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Johnny.
Doing fine, thank you, Johnny.
I didn't hear the opening.
What open? Just had it.
I didn't hear it. I guess my mic's not on or my headset.
Maybe you weren't paying
See if it's plugged in.
Welcome to Living Clean and Sober with Johnny Raggs and Ken MacDonald, our more than capable engineer, Art Ackerman. Hi, Art.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm very well.
No good, Arthur. No problem. Hey, glad to be here, man. Life is good.
It certainly is.
Yes, it is.
I want to put this out there before I get into what we do. I want to dedicate this show tonight to the memory of Maria Peters, who was laid to rest Friday, another victim of the addiction. Love you, Maria. Okay, that being said, City of Angels, we do a lot of neat stuff. If you want to find out what we do, go to cityofangelsnj.org. If you want to call in, the area code is 609-241-7103. Welcome to the show, everyone.
Welcome to the show.
Where'd that come from? We already had our intro, Ken.
I know. I didn't hear it. I'm a little.
He missed it.
It's a little behind.
No, I had my head.
Is it working now or no?
I guess they're not working. No, they're not working. Actually, they're not working.
Mine's working now.
Are yours working?
Mine's not working now. Mine are.
Yeah.
Well, you can keep going.
Yeah, we'll keep going.
Try looking at it.
I hear something now.
Yeah, I can hear. I'm on the phone.
Alan, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, good to see you again, Alan, man.
Alan's a retread. He was on the show earlier.
A retread?
Yeah.
Retread.
He came back.
Or a repeat?
Repeat, a rerun. What else would you call it, Art? Give me one of them.
He's a rewind.
I knew he would have a different word. That's what I love about him. Welcome, everyone. Good to be back.
Yes, it is.
It's a very hot Monday night in Hightstown, New Jersey.
I love Hightstown. What a great five block town. You can't get lost. You go one way, get what you need, then you go home.
It's foolproof. I like that because I get lost anywhere I go.
Do you? Even with GPS, Johnny? That's
Even
not
with
good,
GPS.
brother.
My GPS is even stupid.
She talks
It's
too
called the
much.
smart.
Globally positioned satellite.
Yeah.
Is that what that? I was going to ask you, but that's.
Were you? Well, you know
See
what?
how in sync we are?
Yeah, we think
good.
alike, man. You didn't have to ask.
Under the Twilight Zone.
But anyway, Michael, what's going on, man? You listening in, or you a little nervous? You looking a little nervous, man. You don't know what to say. You don't know what to expect. You don't know who's listening.
I'm just listening to the professionals speak for it.
Professional. Wow, we're just regular guys, man.
That's all.
You know,
Ordinary,
that's it.
regular guy.
Yep, that's
Like
it,
Joe
right,
Walsh
Arthur,
said.
man? It's all good.
Like Joe Walsh. said.
Good.
We're just ordinary, average guys. Everything's a song.
Smile for the camera, Michael.
Say hi.
Say hello.
Act like you mean it.
Look, man, tell us how you got here, man. What's going on? You know, bring it, man. Bring it. No time like the
Johnny
present.
picked me up around 6 o'clock.
Did he? Okay. All right.
He's still eating dinner.
I was eating dinner when he got there, but
Did he wait for you?
he did wait for me. Nice thing was is I got forced into the back seat.
Whoa.
Alan had his seat all the way back.
He thought he was taking a nap.
I was trying to. I was working
My
on that.
biggest
grown
fear
man
was
status.
all the windows were down, and I was afraid that Johnny didn't have AC in his car.
Wow.
But come to find out, as soon as we pulled out the driveway, he did have AC, so it's a pretty nice ride all the way here.
It's radio. It's really good if you talk into the mic.
Yeah, we need you to talk.
Okay.
There you go.
I can talk into the mic.
Good. I figured you can handle that.
Yeah, that's.
Yo, talking to the mic, Mike.
Hey, I'm talking into the mic.
Come on, Mike.
This is Mike, and I'm
All right,
talking
man.
into
Well,
the
tell
mic.
us what happened to your life and how you got here, not how
not
Johnny.
how you got here.
But that was a good
really
explanation
not
for living in the
important.
present. You know what I mean? Like, how did I get here tonight?
Well, I fell into addiction late in life.
Late bloomer. I like
Late
that, man.
Yeah, late bloomers, you got to watch out for them.
Yeah. They're just getting started and we're done.
Yeah, we're tired.
We got all the good stuff.
You know, all through life, I was, I was a pretty good athlete growing up, and that was my whole focus. You know, didn't really drink a lot, didn't really do any type of drugs or anything growing up through high school. Went off to college, did a little party in there.
Nice.
And
It's a good place to party.
yeah,
That's places
you
go.
can always find a party in college, and it's just tough to balance both of them. And you know, I played college football, had a few injuries. I don't like to tell people what position I play because they don't think it is a position when it's actually a position.
Yeah, it is.
Yo, you got paid for it, right?
you get paid for it, it's a position,
It's a
right?
position. Yes, it is.
And I was pretty good. I was All-American in college, but I was a punter.
That's a position.
That is a
It's
position.
an
And the
important
reason-
position.
I
one of
can't
the
punt.
reasons-
It's the best position.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you usually don't get hit.
You don't have to tackle
No,
anybody.
you do. You do if somebody gets past
Yeah, right.
the other players, but the only reason I didn't want to be a field goal kicker is because field goal kickers there's too much pressure on.
Right.
You either can win or lose a game. Punting, the worst thing you have to do is try to punt out the end zone. But you know, I had a few injuries in and out of college, and then after college, you know, it's everybody's dreams to play professional football, and no punters ever get drafted. So, you know, on draft day, all you do is sit in front of TV and watch all the players you played against get drafted while you sit there and watch. Okay, that's how it works.
Wow.
But
That's depressing.
it is depressing, you know. Yeah, but hey, you know what's going to happen. What happened was after that I got a tryout, couple free agent tryouts, and landed with the. You don't really like to say that around here, because if you say it around here, I landed with the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, I love the Cowboys, man. I love the Cowboys. What a great team.
Look, Artie dropped his headphones.
Already dropped.
It's all good, man.
I'm a Packers
Already
fan.
dropped his headphones, and
Yeah, he's a cheesehead.
you know, if you tell people that, I mean, it's amazing in Philadelphia how they just catch an attitude instantly. It's not even like they work into having an attitude with it. They just, as soon as you say, yeah, I was with the Cowboys, it's an instant attitude. And
How do you feel about that?
hey, that's their problem.
I mean, Governor Christie's your fan.
Yeah. There's one fan we know of in this area.
Well, I mean, they get it honestly here because I remember one time we were at Veterans Stadium, and after the game, you know, the vans, the buses, they park underneath the stadium because they don't want, you know, the possibility of people getting shot, beat up, or anything coming out the locker room. And we were coming from underneath the stadium, and I'm gonna tell you what, they were throwing bottles. They were
Savages.
They were just rocking the bus back and forth, and
Welcome to Philadelphia.
and you're like, you know, and somebody said, yeah, they even beat up Santa Claus, so you know they got issues.
Actually, they threw ice balls with rocks in them at Santa
Right.
Claus.
So you know, you hear the rumors about Philadelphia, but until you experience it, and then especially if you're on the opposing team, it's really worse. And but to move on from there.
I was hoping you would. I was starting to think that all that led up to your addiction.
It did lead up to my addiction, and I'm getting there.
Okay.
I'm just reminiscing right now. I don't think about this a whole lot. I'm reminiscing right now. And so what happened after that? I went into the ministry, and I became a pastor for 15 years. And
wow.
During that time, I started developing back pain, and I was having some physical issues, and so I was prescribed medication.
Okay.
And that was my first really experience with any type of mood or mind-altering substance.
Did you take it all at once, or did you take it as prescribed?
I started out as prescribed.
Okay.
And then, but I was a pastor now, so I was doing counseling, I was preaching, I was traveling all over the world, doing all these things, and I was still taking the medication. And then I moved on to the other things, like, you know, the Xanax and the other things. I don't know if you're allowed us to say the names here on the radio, but the other type of medications. And, you know, it really got real sad, Ken, is what happened was that it got to the point to where on Sunday mornings I would preach a message, and then what would happen is I couldn't remember what I said, so I'd have to listen to the tape on the way home just to know what I said that morning. So my addiction had got pretty bad, therefore.
Yeah, you were blacking out.
And you know, and what happened is that, you know, I don't like to be a hypocrite. So I could, you know, I just started feeling worse and worse, and the conviction came on to where, you know, I stepped down. I wasn't fired. I wasn't kicked out. I stepped down because, you know, I just knew it wasn't right to you know, be up there and being so messed up that you can't remember what you're saying. And you know, I wasn't sure. You know, the only one that thinks that you're covering is you. You know, probably the congregation probably thought I had lost my mind or something. But I did resign, and I moved down to Florida. And you know, when you're in Florida, you can get medication anytime you want it. And so my addiction got worse and worse. And then I went to a rehab down in Florida. I knew that I needed to. It was a 90-day rehab, and then after that, I stayed cleaned for years after that. Never really worked a program, which I'm not saying, which was wrong, but I never followed through with what I knew I needed to do. So when I moved up to Pennsylvania, I started developing these back pains again, and
so you had been clean before that?
I had been clean. And you know, I really didn't want to get back into the medication, but that was how they were managing the pain. And so I decided to try to, you know, hey, let's get a surgery, so you know, that way the medication won't be necessary. Well, one surgery.
Okay. I like that idea.
Okay. I'm trying to handle the problem and take care of the problem, hopefully, to where I don't have to be managed by pain medication. Well, just so happens after my first surgery, I got a spinal fluid leak, which means the fluid in my spinal was leaking, and my back became like a big ball of just mush. You could just push it in, you could hear it slushing in the back. So I had to go back in. They had to go back in and patch that up. And once they went back in and patched it up, I developed an infection. And they had to take me to the University of Penn to take care of the infection. But I still had the pain afterwards. So what I did is I started taking the medication and not as prescribed. And then I developed what I did is my addiction was in full-blown. I was in full-blown addiction. And found myself doing things that I never thought I could do, I would ever do. Morally, that was wrong. Ended up getting pushed on through so other people could talk. Ended up getting 3 DUIs. And ended up getting sentenced to 18.
So 1 DUI wasn't enough? You had to get 3?
Some of us have extreme,
And
I figured you'd try it 3 times to make sure it didn't work.
I just wanted to make sure, the first one wasn't an accident, I guess. I don't know.
No, I hear you.
Right?
Yeah.
So I went on to I got the second one. And to make a long story short, I got 2 in one night.
Wow.
Yeah, that's hard to do.
How did that, man?
Even if you don't go, I'm not saying go out and try, but it's hard to do if you're trying.
I have a question. Same cop?
Nah, 2 different counties. That's what made it worse.
2 different counties.
Yeah.
So wait, did they lock you up and then you got out on bail and then you got locked up again?
Nah, this is a story. I was going to I was trying to go get iced coffee, and a lady said that I cut her off, so she called the police, and I went into the coffee store, and I came out, and they had my car blocked in, 2 police cars, and they came up to me and said, "Have you been drinking?" And I said, "No, I haven't been drinking." And then they gave me the field sobriety test, and they arrested me, took me to the hospital. I gave blood, and put me in a cab after all that.
Oh, we got a call.
Yo. Prime time, man.
Time.
Who's calling? Thank you for calling. What's going on? Oh, wrong number.
Wrong number.
We get a lot of that on Monday nights
we do.
between 8 and 9.
Something about pay your IRS bill, they're sending the cops.
Right, okay, yeah, you gotta pay your
Maybe that's
taxes.
why the 2 cops are out front.
Even if you're on the radio.
Right, and even if you're on the right side of the law.
That's right.
But please continue.
Right. So what they did is after they arrested me and booked me and everything, I hadn't. They knew I wasn't drinking. They wasn't even sure if I was messed up because the blood test hadn't came back there yet, so they couldn't keep me. So they called me a cab and sent me back to my car. And what happened was I got back in the car and I'm like, I'm not gonna sit around here. So I started it back up, got back in it, started heading down the road. As soon as I got into the next county, I saw the lights behind me and I'm saying, are you kidding me? Pulled over. A trucker said that I had cut him off. And,
That was a lie too, right?
I guess, I don't know, maybe.
What kind of karma are you putting off?
Yeah, 2 people.
What state was this in?
This was in Pennsylvania. I mean, I've always had a problem with the people in Pennsylvania, going all the way back to my playing days. So, I think they were just trying to get
Yeah, there's that hidden resentment.
There it is.
Karma.
I clear. Didn't even have a cowboy sticker on the back of the car, so I don't know how they do that. But, so they pulled me over and, checked the car, brought the dogs in. I mean, it's like, I
For cutting a truck driver out?
I had
Brought the dogs in?
Yeah, I went from the first stop to where they just arrested me and took me into the hospital and let me go to bringing the dogs in. I was like,
Wasn't who let the dogs out.
Yo, I never heard of anything like that. Holy shit, man.
That's bananas.
but they definitely didn't let me go that time.
So
Okay?
let me ask you the $1 million question. Did you learn anything from all this?
You would have thought I did. No, I
How
didn't.
about that?
Punchline.
So you didn't learn anything from all this?
No. So after that, I was doctor shopping, had started writing my own prescriptions. And,
so you took it to the next level, my brother. Yo, there, yo.
Well, let's get back to writing your own prescriptions.
I figure if you're gonna do it, you might as well do it right. And
I agree.
And I try. I mean, this is how out of control I was in my addictions. I mean, I didn't care about anything, anybody. All I did was care about myself. And I sought after what I wanted to do. And I had been arrested. I was out on bond. And this is how ridiculous and how powerful addiction is while I was out on bond, I continued to write fake prescriptions.
My man.
Got caught again. They arrested me again, and I went in front of the judge, and he just shook his head. He said, "You mean to tell me, while you were out on bond, you were writing prescriptions?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And then he jacked my bond up a little higher. So while I was out on bond, they wanted to do a pre-sentence report to see what my background was. I really don't think that they were planning on giving me a lot of time. My lawyer had talked about maybe 90 days in jail. But you know me, I figured, 90 days probably wasn't long enough. But when I got my third DUI, and I'm fortunate, to tell you the truth, that I didn't kill myself or kill somebody. And the best thing that ever happened to me was going to the prison to where I could dry out, get off the medication, learn more about the 12-step programs in NA. My third DUI happened as I was taken. Now, this is how crazy it is. It was about 8:30 at night, and I was trying to get drug court. A lawyer said, "You know what? You need to go turn this application in." Well, remember now, it's 8:30 at night. Courthouse is closed. So in my mind, I got in the car and I was driving to the courthouse to take the application in. And what happened was that I hit a car that was parked at a stoplight. And I'm just thankfully that nobody really got hurt that bad. So I backed the car up a couple blocks and took off walking. They found me, arrested me, and they wasn't very happy now. Not only had I done the DUIs 3 times, prescription frauds, so they denied as you would expect, they denied my drug court. And when I went to court, they gave me 18 to 36 months in the state penitentiary. And I did a little over 2 years and got out about a year ago. And
congratulations.
Yeah, been in the program, working the program. Got a sponsor, got a home group, and I can really see how just being around other addicts and getting encouragement from them and getting the knowledge and the wisdom that they have has really helped me. I've been clean this October the 23rd. I'm going on 3 years. And so I'm excited to see what the future holds. Just excited for the opportunity to be able to share my story, with as many people as I can. Actually, the Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick has contacted me and has asked me about working with him, in some of his, drug programs. Because, we have a drug epidemic in America that's just straight up out of control right now. And something has to be done. And I don't believe that everybody they send to prison for drugs should be in prison for drugs. I think, they need the treatment. And
what do you think about that, Arthur?
I think he's right. I mean, everyone that's in prison probably shouldn't be there. I mean, there's some people that should be there, that's for sure. Yeah, but not everyone. I mean,
What do you think, Alan?
I actually brought this up last time I was here, and
I don't remember. Bring it up again, please.
Well, I mean, I kind of went through a lot of the same stuff that he went through with the DUIs. However, I didn't get locked up 2 times in a night.
Okay.
But, yeah, I mean, I was in prison plenty of times, and, you know, most of the people that I was locked up with, they were all drug addicts. And that's not the place where they need to be. These people are, like, they're getting sick. And the CEOs and the medical people in there, they don't give a crap. Sorry.
Are they supposed to?
They don't.
Are they supposed to care about you?
It's not necessarily like if you're sick and you're in a lot of pain going through withdrawal, they don't care what you're really going through. And I don't really think that. I think that if they're.
Well, didn't you know that you would go through that once you start using?
I didn't go through withdrawal.
No.
No, that wasn't my type of stuff that I did. I did other stuff, but I didn't go through the withdrawal part. I really didn't. Which I was fortunate about.
Nevertheless, you ended up in jail anyway, which is usually what happens.
Plenty of times, yeah. And I was high when I went to jail,
right?
Because I was an idiot, pretty much, you know. But they didn't let me out. I mean, I would have left and I would have been gone, like, right. And I wouldn't have been behind the wheel again. I mean, they took my truck and, you know, it was crazy. I assaulted 5 police officers. They had to put me out cold from a paramedic. They hit me up with some kind of medication.
Holy shnikes.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't remember none of it. Okay, I woke up in a psych ward, strapped up like a marionette doll. That's the truth.
So did that help you stay clean, Alan?
No.
No?
No.
What did it take for you? You're clean now. You're here.
A good
willing to be in service.
A good sponsor, and I mean, I did stay clean for almost about a year, and I thought that it would be okay to then drink occasionally at dinner and stuff
I used
like that.
to think that too.
And then it went out of control. It didn't just stay at drinking. I started popping some pills, smoking some tree and stuff like that. So it went out of control, and I went right back to my choice of drug. Why? Because I didn't listen to my sponsor at the time and stay away from women. Shocker. And I was involved with a girl that was using, and, you know, just like you were saying earlier, you are who you hang out with, pretty much. And what happened? I went out and I used. She was using that night, and that's exactly what happened. And everybody warned me, and I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm strong, you know? I'm not like that fiend or whatever, but apparently I'm weaker than I thought I was.
Well, I mean, look, it's easier for people like us. We'll get high before they'll get clean. If they don't want to help them, we're just kind of like, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. And, I mean, how many people have we said that to, and, you know, they're not here anymore, you know, which is the unfortunate thing. Like,
see it on Facebook all the time. Johnny died, Sarah died, this person died. It's crazy. It's sad.
2 today.
Yeah.
What we got here. You know, and the good thing is, I was listening to both of you guys, and Kenny.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome. The thing is, listen to that story that you told. Now, your life of like being meaningless and purposeless turns into something with a purpose. You mentioned the congressman or senator. That's big stuff. And that's what we're called to do. Kenny, when I got clean, I didn't say, oh, you know what, I'll get clean and we'll do a radio show on City of Angels. You know? I never thought that. But when I was led here...
Just like you didn't wake up and said I was going to be an addict today, right?
Exactly.
No.
Nobody plans that.
You didn't wake up and go, hey, I'm going to be a radio show guy, man.
Right. Exactly. And you have a purpose to do what you're called to do. This is incredible that you're here tonight, because people who are listening, and I enjoyed listening to what you had to say.
Right.
Because
same here.
Think about that. Think about the impact of that. Standing in front of a bunch of people who are heading down the road that you were, thinking, wow, this guy did it. why can't I?
Exactly.
And most of us don't think like that because we're so negative, but if you help one person, then you help one more than
That's
was
right.
being helped at.
Well, hopefully you'll get to that point in your recovery where, you know what I mean, that'll mean something to you, rather than
Exactly.
it being about you, it's about somebody else.
Exactly.
We all get there at some point, right?
And City of Angels is perfect for you to do service work, I got to tell you. So let me know when you're coming back.
And I see a bulldog in your future. Right?
Bulldog?
Oh my gracious! I
Well,
can't wait.
what's that saying?
I don't know. I lost that one. I don't know.
He knows what I'm talking about.
Many are called, few are chosen. I mean, a lot of people over the years have been called to this program. So, a lot of people stayed. I stayed and I left. I mean, I'm not going to deny that. I didn't really want to make Narcotics Anonymous my home because I always had a better idea. So, thankfully, I didn't have to pay the price with my own life, like I hear so frequently these days. People come here, they leave, they think that they can do it one last time, and that's it.
It's crazy how you just said, be a part of Narcotics Anonymous for like the rest of your life.
Which is today.
Which is just for today.
Today is the rest of my life.
Well, like, my biggest problem is when I went out and relapsed this last time, I alienated myself, not only from my sponsor, who I needed the most, but from the fellowship. And I'm not too sure why. But that right there, as soon as I stopped talking to everybody, I went completely downhill. And I realized that it took me about a month to realize, because I was really messed up at the time. You take enough pills, you can't really think too much. But once I came back, I realized that I need everybody in the program to get through this.
You need that support. That support system has to be there. For those weak moments, rather than going out and using, you're picking up the phone and talking to somebody.
And I
that would be the perfect alternative, right?
Yeah, I have some good guys in my life, and it's nice because I get really lonely and stuff when I don't associate myself with the
right, and you start to isolate and you get into your own head, man, and nothing usually ever good comes out of that.
Yo, nothing like being behind enemy lines, Alan.
It's a bad neighborhood up there.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It's alive!
I wasn't in a bad spot last night.
Well, I mean, that's good. I think a big part of recovery is recognizing we don't have to do this alone. We can all say it, I don't want to do this alone, because who wants to be alone?
All right.
I mean, I like being by myself, but I like being with people, too.
Yeah.
And I had the privilege of talking to someone yesterday morning for a few hours about the power of communication. It's okay to let people know what's going on. It's really not a big deal. It's going on in your life. You can't change it. It's happening. Right. You know what I mean? So why hide from it?
Yeah.
Why think that we don't care? That's not the truth. Look, the disease of addiction wants you to think all those things, and we talked about that at dinner. Yeah. You can convince yourself of anything you want. And some of it will be true, and some of it won't. So why do we have a sponsor? Why do we have people in our lives? Why do we go to meetings and raise our hands? What, because we got nothing better to do? There's a power in that.
Yeah.
I never heard anyone say that I left a meeting and felt bad.
Me either.
I never heard that either.
People say, wow, what a great meeting. Hey, it was good seeing you. Yo, but how did you get through that stuff you were talking about? You know what I mean? It's a whole educational thing. And we have laughs.
Oh, tons of them.
I have a good time every time.
Because we're happy.
Yeah.
That's right.
I remember hanging out on the corner when I was a kid. I thought I was happy, but I was in trouble, man.
So was the rest of the world.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's the idea, the thinking that you're happy. When you're happy, you know it.
Absolutely.
There's no...
It shows.
You know what I mean? There's no mask for that. I feel a genuine joy for life inside.
Absolutely.
And you can't mistake it.
But once you get to know somebody well enough, right, you can just look at them and say they're happy, they're sad, you know what I mean?
I know. So where are you at today, Michael? I know you're at the radio show, but
Yeah, don't.
Well, it took me a while. I mean, like I said, I've been out of prison almost a year, but it really did take me a while to start opening up. I'm the type of person, I'm only going to let you know what I want you to know about me. And that's how it was. And it also was really difficult for me to take that phone list that they give you, and when you are struggling, to actually pick up the phone and call somebody. I don't know why that's so hard, but it was for me. Maybe it's not for a lot of people, but it was for me. I feel bad, you don't have to go through this yourself, and I learned that. There's people out there that genuinely care. Like I said, I was a pastor for 15 years of a church, and the people that are in the rooms of NA are more sincere and genuinely care, and I hate to say this, than a lot of people that I met or I was the pastor of, or in churches that I have preached at all over the world, because I believe they know what you're going through. They know the struggles. They've been through it, and they don't want to see people go through it, because you know what? When you're in active addiction, it's one of the worst things in the world. I can't think of anything that was as bad as when I was in active addiction. And then, you know what? Once I was clean, it didn't just stop. I think of some of the craziest thoughts that, that I didn't even know you could think.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
And that's, not using. And you know what? You have people there that your sponsor, call your sponsor. Chances are good, anything you're going through, he's been through. And he can tell you, hey, maybe you need to look at it like this, or maybe you need to give it some time. You know what? The program works, but you got to work it the way it says. What happens is we pick and choose what we want to do with the program. And I call it the salad bar recovery. When I go to a salad bar,
I like that. Salad bar recovery.
I like a salad bar.
What do you think about that, Alan? Salad bar recovery.
I think I'm all about it. I practice it too often. I need to shut my mouth and just
so you pick and choose?
What my sponsor says. Yeah, I do.
So you have a lot of reservations then?
Not reservations. I just.
Well, what would it be if you're picking and choosing? Aren't you reserving the right to think that thinking certain things? You're thinking certain things aren't appropriate for you to do when we all do them?
The thoughts that go through my head are just like insane.
Share one with us. Art will block it out.
I don't want to share them all. I don't want to share any of them.
Just keep it PG.
Yeah, keep it to yourself.
My sponsor knows what it's hitting for. I should just skip this one. But no, I know that the whole salad bar thing. I like how you definitely said that, because I definitely do pick and choose certain parts of my recovery that I participate in, and I put and certain parts of my recovery that my chair just went down.
Is that the fake chair?
This is the fake chair.
Yeah, we broadcast fake news from that chair.
Oh, okay. Well, this is fake. This is fake news. No, and then there's other things that I totally decide that I don't want to do, that I should do on an everyday basis.
Then why do you make a decision not to do them? I'm just curious. If you know you should do it, why are you making the decision not to do it?
I don't know, but I'm definitely working on those type of things.
I think I need a hug.
I do. or four.
Well, no, I mean, that's a classic example of the contradiction that we all live. It lives inside of us, we know what to do, but
how do you think this chair goes?
Today's not a good day. I can get to it tomorrow. I'll be okay. Let me spend some time.
Pressing.
Let me spend time with the family.
Yeah. I do spend time with my family. Mostly my son, though. I mean, I can't stand my mom and dad a lot, but I mean,
good.
It is what it is. I mean,
I'm like, my
thought you
computer's
did
not
that.
playing anything.
I mean, Art sees my videos of.
I do, man. You should get a job, dude. You should get a job.
I have a job. I have two.
I'm messing with
No, I mean, it's, that's some of the things that we learn in the step process.
Exactly.
There's a reason that we surrender to this program. Either we have no choice or we learn how to do it. And I know people that have come to this program and surrendered to it and stayed clean for 30, 35 years, 40 years.
Elevator's broken, take the steps.
I like that, yes.
That's right.
And then there's been
I think
other people
everybody has
like
a choice.
myself who have always come here, recharged my batteries, got a better idea. I mean, let's face it, when we use and we destroy our families, and once they start taking us back, things seem to be pretty good, don't they?
Amazing.
It's like, hey, they're happy, I'm happy, that kind of thing. And, it's crazy.
You're listening to COARadio.com, and if you want to find out all the good stuff we do, cityofangelsnj.org. You got any events coming up?
Actually, we have the run coming up. Outside of that, we were supposed to have the...
September 9th or something?
September 9th is the run.
Hey, you got the date right. Beautiful.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
We were supposed to have a lecture series, the last one before the summer, but that's not happening this Thursday. We ended up canceling that event. So the next one will be in September.
Okay.
So we'll have September, October, November, December. We'll have 4 more of the lecture
The
series.
last Thursday that we had one.
Right.
I had planned on coming, but
That was the Gloucester initiative too.
Right.
But I did, if you missed that, I did videotape that. It is up on our YouTube channel, and you can watch it
cool.
in its entirety.
because I had another memorial service I was at that night.
Yeah, it was.
It's getting insane.
It's crazy times. I mean, I can think of about 8 that we've lost since the 1st of June, and it's only the 11th, right, or 12th, or whatever.
12.
Crazy.
Well, I think soon, John, you're going to have to make a decision not to go to so many of those. It's just very, I know you're sad and all, but it's got to be tough.
It is tough, but the last couple were people that I've known and dealt with and helped over the years, And that one was very sad. That one hit me real hard, Maria, because she was talking to us all week to get into the recovery house and just couldn't get a clean urine. Died alone in the shelter. How much more sad does it get?
No, I hear you, bro. But look, I mean, we're about, creating new lives for each other, right, Michael? A year out of jail, living pretty good. You got a place to stay. You got a sponsor, a home group.
Yeah,
You got some steps.
starting to come together.
You got an appetite?
I do have an appetite.
Hey, you got an appetite.
You know what? I wish my appetite wasn't as big as it is. But, the thing we have to understand is, things just don't fall into place as quick as we want them to. And it takes work. When I got out of prison, it took time to get to where I am today. And if that's rehab or wherever you are in your life, when we get out, it takes work.
Absolutely. The only thing that's instant is oatmeal, Alan, or instant coffee. Everything else takes time. You know what time stands for?
No.
Things I must earn.
Another thing they think is instant up here that's really not, since I was born in Savannah, Georgia, is grits. Grits are not instant. And I think, and they
Go there with the grits.
and they changed the name and call it, cream of wheat? It's grits.
Well, cream of wheat is ground grits.
Yeah, whatever they call it, but there's, grits takes time, just like recovery, all right? It takes time, it takes work, It takes the right recipe to make a good batch of grits. And same thing with recovery. It takes the right recipe.
Absolutely.
It takes the steps. It takes a sponsor. It takes, attending meetings. I love going to meetings.
So you're saying that it's not salad bar recovery?
Exactly. When I go to the salad bar, you know what? I don't like anchovies. And if anchovies are on a salad bar, I'm not going to eat them. All right? So, but you know what? And one thing that irritates me more than anything, when I'm sitting in a meeting and somebody says, and I heard this last week, oh, you know what? Clean time's not important. Yes, it is. Because that keeps me motivated.
Absolutely.
Because I don't want to have to start over again. All right? And you know what? If it's part of the program, it's important. Because it's put in there for a reason. And you know what? It is important. If you got 30, 60, 1 day, whatever, you know what? It's important because you build off that. Yeah, I got coming up on 3 years. I don't want to relapse and have to start that process over again and the counting over again. And you know what? I keep my 2-year anniversary coin in my wallet. So when I'm going through my wallet, I know, you know what? I reflect back at how hard that was. And it keeps me going day by day.
I like that.
Hard work always pays off.
Right. Right.
You know what time it is, right?
I know what time it is.
Yo, I know what time it is too. Wait a minute. Oh, it's 8:46. Right, Mike? There's no time like the present, right?
That's it. That's what that clock says, 8:46.
Right, it's, you know what, it's a good life, man, and, I was just sitting, having dinner with you guys, or a sandwich or whatever. It was kind of just sitting around talking, and the word came to me. It was actually pretty interesting how it all evolved, which is usually how it happens for me, and the word is revelation. I felt like, our conversations, like I met Alan, a few months ago, and of course I've been connected with Johnny and, Art, and I met Michael, actually his first meeting he went to out of jail, and here we are sitting, almost a year later, because I was able to walk up and say hi to him. Like, this disease doesn't want us to say hi to people that we don't know. You know what I mean? It doesn't want us to reach out. It doesn't want us to welcome people. And I remember that night I welcomed them to our group because that's what people did for me. The night I got my home group, I remember I got over 50 hugs. And I really felt like they wanted me to be at the meeting pretty much. But in between my ears, it's like, well, what am I doing here? But anyway, revelation is
4-syllable word.
A surprising and previously unknown fact, especially one that is made known in something that happens in your life. And that's what brought me to this word. Like, these things happen to me. It was no accident. I believe that it was supposed to be that way. What the miracle was is me recognizing it. Because you got to remember, a couple of days clean, a week clean, what did I care about? Really nothing. My life was useless. I was sad, depressed, didn't have a whole lot of hope. When I used to go out into the yard to smoke a cigarette, that was like a highlight of my life, pretty much. I could go out for, a half hour, and that's all changed. And it's really changed because I've allowed this program to transform my life. This isn't my idea of living a life. You know what I'm saying? I had to learn this. And then I had to continue to practice. And we were talking outside that, Mike said to me something like, this is where you come on Monday nights. And I'm like, yeah, I just started showing up. Do I want to do something different on a Monday night every now and then? Yeah, sure. I get this idea, but I come here. I talk to Johnny, I'll meet you at 7 o'clock. Like, we communicate. I don't make a decision like go home and then called Johnny. I wasn't feeling too good, so I decided to go home. So I'm very proactive with what's going on. So, but it was great having you guys on the show again.
Thank you for having me.
Incredible, man.
Appreciate that.
It was a great show.
You know, Mike, I really appreciate, your story. And, because like you said, you had a problem letting people know. Well, you probably let 1,000 people know tonight.
That's right.
Over the live streaming. What do you think? Maybe 900?
It'll be a lot once we share it out over Facebook and social media and Twitter. And
because people
end up on the website. This lives forever. And, tomorrow we'll have the day after, we'll have the YouTube video up. And
Awesome. How was your second time on the show? Is it better than the first?
It was definitely better than the first
time. Up the first time.
I wouldn't say feared up, but I was definitely.
God forbid you have fear.
I was nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I was definitely nervous.
That's good. That's a good.
I was 100% nervous.
When I was talking to you last time, you give me one-word answers. Okay.
Before this is over, I'm gonna need a whole lot of serious therapy.
There's not enough therapy in this world for me.
Yes, there is.
It's good to have you.
It's all part of the plan.
Very good.
Where do you get to find this stuff at?
I have no life. Well, you're working hard every day. I'm drinking coffee and sitting at my computer looking for stupid sounds.
And watching me. Watching Alan. Yeah, with my nutty
what he should be doing working.
I'm working, hardly. My boss loves me.
That's good.
Yeah, he does.
You remember when you couldn't get a job?
Yeah, for like a year and a half.
But
I'm going to make him an offer again with you.
Yeah.
Well, everybody that's here tonight had to be willing to get here. And when I asked Mike, he said yes right away. Would I pick him up? I said absolutely. And I asked Alan when? Today? This morning? Or
yesterday, last night. He said, he said, when do you want to be on the show? Are you going to be on the show Monday? And I was like, yeah. I only have to work all day long and be up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
And that was me all the time. What was that?
The phone did not ring tonight.
I know. What happened?
We still have like 10 minutes left.
I guess it's too heavy for somebody to pick up.
609-241-7103 if you want to call in.
That's right.
Pick up the phone and call.
You still have 9 minutes to harass Mike for playing for Dallas.
So aren't you glad you're
He didn't get enough of that and all the time he played.
That's right. Right.
Yeah, I'm
glad you recognize that, Art.
I just think it's an honor to be able to be here tonight and share my story and I want to see people recover. I want to see people stay clean, and because you know what, I know the consequences of not doing that. And I really have a passion.
I like that word, consequence.
Consequentially.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we can actually think of, a consequence.
Pretty soon,
that's when we were all in our addiction, that was the last thing that we thought about was the consequences for
Didn't even
actions,
care about it.
Didn't even know what that word was.
Yeah, that was way over there somewhere. That wasn't at the top of the priority list.
No. Yeah. And I'll tell another quick story. I had a lot of community service, and I went to go find a place. Doesn't matter the place to start doing my community service because I have to get it done. And one of the processes are you have to get a police record. You got to get a background check. And I was volunteering my free time. I contacted state police. They sent me the record. I faxed it to them, and they turned me down. I don't have any violence on my record. It's all my whole record is addiction related. It's drug related.
Right.
Never sold drugs. Never did anything like that. It was DUIs and writing prescriptions, and they turned me down. And I was really frustrated. I'm thinking, you know what? If I can't volunteer for community service, there's no way I can get a job. So what I did is I called him up and I said, you know what? I wanted to talk to you in person. I said, I understand what that looks like. This is exactly how I approached it. I said, I understand how that looks, what that looks like, and if I was in your situation, I probably would have made the same decision you did. But that person that you're looking at on that paper is not the person I am today. And I said, well, I would just appreciate it if you'd just give me a chance to prove myself. If you don't like me once I get in there, then let me go. But at least give me a chance, because I'm not that person.
Right, because the past does not define who I am today.
Right.
That's right. Thank you, Arthur.
Beautiful.
And, you know, they did let me come in, and we got along great. Was able to finish up my community service and move on. But you know what? I could have let that frustrate me, which it did. I'm not going to get wrong. But you know what? I wanted to at least talk to them and let them tell me why. And it worked out. So if you're out there and you have roadblocks, you know, because of your past, or, you know what? Keep pushing forward. You know what? Think outside the box. I could have just threw my hands up, you know, and waved the white flag and just pouted about it. But it was something I had to get done. So I had to find a different way.
And you recognized that.
Yes.
That's the important part.
Right.
You recognized it.
Yeah, if you're working a program and you have a sponsor, I mean, I know that some sponsors will write a letter and a recommendation that you're, you know, a productive member of society. I've had people do that.
You know, we do that at City of Angels all the time. I mean, you know, they do community service for us, or, you know, they do their amends, and they come back and they volunteer and they give back, and they, you know, help us do interventions, and they help us. You know, when we bring a kid in, what's the best thing we can do? They want to hear some 61-year-old guy? No. They want to talk to somebody, you know, if they were Alan's age, to Alan, and Alan could tell him his story. You know what I mean? If it was someone Mike's age, that's the connection, though. You know what I mean? There has to be that connection between the person who's seeking recovery and someone that walked in their shoes that can offer them hope, right?
Right.
It's all about hope. That's all. Sometimes it's all we have left when we get to the end of that road.
That's right. You're desperate.
Hold on, pain ends.
Somebody gives you a hope shot. That's awesome. Just a little twinkle.
I like that stuff.
Changes.
You know, you need that every once in a while. Absolutely. You know.
I was going to say, if you're out there and you're thinking in the same situation as Mike, call Mike. I've been getting barraged with phone calls. Yeah. They wouldn't mind, now would you?
Just a bit outside.
And y'all all know we do what we want to do. If something's really important to us, we'll do it. Yeah. We'll find a way to do it. And
we're very resourceful people.
And as soon as our recovery takes priority in our lives, we'll find a way to get to those meetings. We'll find a way.
That's right.
To do what we want to do.
Absolutely.
I agree.
We will. We're very resourceful.
Right, and I'm liking Cleveland tonight.
I don't know.
Cleveland. Okay.
Cavaliers, yeah, man. Pressure's on. Pressure.
I'll go with you on that, Ken. I'll go with Cleveland.
I mean, sometimes people perform well under pressure.
Like LeBron?
Pressure can
Nashville did not perform well under pressure.
They didn't.
No?
They folded.
Yeah, they got the brakes beat off.
That was sad. That was a tight game last night. Did you see it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Being a Flyers fan, I just got this thing with Pittsburgh, man. It's
well, they had 2 goals that weren't counted. Last night should have been a goal. That was a bad mistake.
So what, they tied the series up?
No, it's over.
No, it's over, yeah.
Pittsburgh good?
Yeah, I watched it too.
I didn't watch it either.
It was a minute and 35 left. There was nothing, 0-0. Pittsburgh scored with a minute 35
Did you see the New England Patriots receiving the Super Bowl rings?
No, I didn't care to look.
Well, I'm not a huge New England fan, but them rings are so big that they're going to need a sling just to be able to walk around with it on. Right?
My nephew had a World Series ring when the Phillies won in 2008 because he worked for the Phillies at the time.
Nice.
Those things are like, oh my God.
Yeah. It has like 250 diamonds in it. And the reason they put that in there is, what was the score at halftime? Like 23-3?
Something like
So they put 233 diamonds in it just as to remind them what the halftime score was.
I wouldn't even want to wear that.
First overtime Super
bling.
Bowl.
First overtime Super Bowl.
Yeah.
What a revelation.
There's that word.
All right.
Well,
thank you guys for
it's
coming.
that time.
Thank you for having
on
me.
the show.
Appreciate you, love.
Till the next
We
episode.
appreciate it. We'll do it again sometime soon. Arthur, great job as usual.
Thank you.
And thank you to all our listeners. You make this show possible.
Yes, thank you very much.
Until next week, be well.
And it's been a while since I could hold my head up high. And it's been a while since I first saw you. And it's been a while since I could stand on my own 2 feet again. And it's been a while since I could call you. Everything I can remember, as fucked up as it all may seem, the consequences that I've rendered, I've stretched myself beyond my means. And it's been a while since I can say that I wasn't addicted. And it's been a while since I can say I love myself as well. And it's been a while since I've gone fuck things up just like I always do. It's been a while, but all that shit seems to disappear when I'm with you. And everything I can remember, as fucked up as it all may seem, the consequences that I've rendered, gone and fuck things up again. Why must I feel this way? Just make this go away. Just one more peaceful day. It's been a while since I could look at myself straight. And it's been a while since I said I'm sorry. It's been a while since I've seen the way the candles light your face. And it's been a while, but I can still remember just the way you taste. And everything I can remember, as fucked up as it all may seem, I know it's me. I cannot blame this on my father. He did the best he could for me. And it's been a while since I could hold my head up high. it's been a while since I said I'm sorry.